You're listening to No Plot, Only Lore, a podcast about games and the tables we play them at. Your DMs tonight and every night are Josh and Chris. You can find us on all podcast platforms or check us out at noplotonlylore.com. If you like what you hear today, please rate and review the show and share it with everyone you've ever met.
Welcome back to No Plot Only Lore, brought to you today by rain. It is raining outside my window, and you're probably going to hear some of it. We really need to come up with we need sponsor deals, bruh.
Yeah, we need to, well, I think, first of all, we need to, court sponsors. I don't know if we've ever made it available to the public that we are, in fact, willing to whore ourselves out.
That's fair. I don't, what type of whoring are you willing to do?
Oh, sexual, intellectual, emotional, whatever it takes.
All right, so you heard it here first, folks. Josh is starting an OnlyFans page. Is it going to be feet pics?
Yeah, primarily my right foot, because it's kind of the least messed up, but I am missing a toenail, so I guess your mileage would vary.
I kind of want to see it.
Yeah,
I didn't want to see your feet until you told. Yeah, I didn't want to see your feet until you mentioned a missing toenail, and now I'm like, that's weird.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I want money, and so I will do weird things.
My family is really weird about that sort of thing. I think mostly because both of my parents are paramedics.
Right.
And when the kids got injured, it was like an event. They would make sure that we were okay. They would always make sure that we were okay. And then my mom would bust out a camera and start taking pictures of the injury.
Hey, that's weird.
Because it was cool. Like, my brother sawed his hand while working at a fab shed and cut off a part of his finger, and the rest of his hand was just hamburger. And he goes to the hospital and is getting the dressing taken off, and my mom is just hovering around the doctor taking pictures of it so that she can put them on the internet. I have them on my Facebook because I thought they were fucking cool. But
I mean, they sound cool, but still, that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah. So my family, if you have medical weirdness, we're usually kind of morbidly interested.
Okay. Yeah, morbid is not how I would describe it. That's messed up, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Your family's got some deep-rooted issues that need to be addressed.
I didn't even know it was weird until I was showing somebody pictures on my Facebook of stuff that I had done recently. I'd gone on a vacation, and we got down to the pictures of my brother's hand, and she was like, "Oh my God, why do you have those?" I was like, "Because they're fucking cool." And she's like, "No, they're not." I was like, "Oh, maybe not everybody is into the injuries the way my family do."
Yeah, that's a tough one to learn about your family that late in life. Or oh no, we're deeply flawed.
Deeply flawed, or just have this weird inert quality, an insulation against trauma.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the time we were watching The Operation with supper?
No.
Okay, so there was this show that was on TLC back when TLC wasn't aliens making Egypt or whatever, the Learning Channel. And there was this show that was called The Operation, and it was just they would walk you through all of the steps of an operation, including showing you the operation as it was happening. And for my family, this isn't a big deal. We ate while this show was on all the time.
Okay.
But the one that actually caused a reaction was the contraceptive surgeries, tubal ligations, and vasectomies.
Okay.
So getting those procedures done was fine.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all. The reversals, the reversal tubal ligation, basically the same thing as watching a tubal ligation. You inflate the belly, you get all the fiber optic cables in there. It's really cool. The reverse vasectomy, they have to find where this the cut is on the vas deferens, And to do that, they snip open the sack and pop your ball out.
Sick.
And my brother watched this happen, went onto his plate, stood up and said, "I'm done," and left.
Yeah, and your parents were just like, "Yep, that makes sense."
Yeah, all of us were. We were like, "Yeah, no, that's gross," and then continued eating. But that's my family.
Jeez Louise, my friend. That's now that is unusual and uncommon, right?
Yes. It still doesn't bother me at all. And like that can sometimes lead to some weirdness where like other people are being grossed out about a thing, and I'm just standing there like it's nothing because it is. But then I get like really weirded out about like slimy things and bad smells. So, okay. Like, and I don't know how many people know this, but humans smell really bad on the inside. So like anytime there's like actual trauma happening around me, I'm like,
yeah,
don't love that.
Yeah, I mean, like as a hunter who butchers his own game, like yeah, things smell bad on the inside. Star Wars wasn't lying. Like they smell worse on the inside. Pretty much everything does.
Yeah. So now that we've scared away the vast majority of our audience, like all 6 people.
Yeah. Everyone knows the vast difference.
How do we get players invested in what we're doing?
God, if I knew, I would write a book and make so much money. And buy-in is one of the hardest things to get. Like, maybe my experience is like partially skewed by the fact that I do play with like new players so much, and the buy-in, I will say, like deviates or diminishes very quickly. The excitement of the new experience quickly gives way to like, I don't want to say boredom, but just like borderline aimlessness sometimes, where because they're not like used to tracking this whole thing in their own heads and kind of like biting onto the hooks that you leave, they kind of get, I don't want to say demotivated, but they get lost.
Disinterested sometimes is something that I see.
Yeah.
A lot of it for me, like when I'm seeing that type of behavior, it's usually physical.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can tell how invested players are by the way they're sitting. And when you have your players and they're like, elbows are on the table, they're leaning forward, they're engaged in what you're doing, you have an interested group of people around your table. If they're leaning far back, if they're playing on their phone, if they're kind of staring off into space, if they haven't necessarily been paying attention and you call on them and they're like, oh, what? Then you've lost them. And getting that buy-in back can be difficult.
I will say, I also struggle with this because, like, as a player, I'm like, the people who know me know that I'm working on getting a formal ADHD diagnosis. But for me, sometimes my most focused and invested can manifest in ways that look like disinterest. Like for me, it is very important for me to have something to do with my hands in order for my brain to be fully engaged in what we're doing. So whether it's like literally like assembling Gundam while we're doing like RP type stuff, or just having like I had a deck that I was sleeving and then shuffling while we were playing the other week. And it's an unconscious movement for me to just like shuffle and cut and shuffle and cut. But it kept my hands doing something so that my brain was freed up. And that may look distracted to a lot of people, but like that was me at my like toughest problem solving and most paying attention that week.
I have something similar. I doodle.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of my like jitteriness in the ADHDs comes out in like drawing, and so if it seems like I'm not paying attention, but I've got a pencil in my hand and I'm making little sketches, you have me locked in.
Yeah.
And my body language will still reflect that, right? Like I'll still be on the table, right? Like I'll be leaning forward. I will still be interested, but my face won't be looking at you. It'll be looking at the paper,
right?
And I will be doodling while I'm trying to figure out the problems that we're solving.
Yeah.
For me, like I've never really had a problem getting initial buy-in from my players, and I think the biggest reason for that is like I bring a lot of energy to my tables, which is a difficult thing to do if you don't have practice with like improv or theater or performance or sales, right? Like the amount of energy that I bring to this podcast is not the energy that I bring to my table. Right. Like I show up and it is immediate, and like my voice is much louder when I hit the table. I usually stand, so there's like some presence that happens there. If everybody is sitting and one person is standing, then attention naturally goes to the person who is up above everybody else.
Sure.
And so like initially it's very easy for me to get like that buy-in. Keeping it can be a challenge, especially with larger groups. And I do traditionally play with larger groups than is suggested by the player's handbook.
Yeah.
So like that is a thing that I occasionally run into. The best thing I have ever seen anybody do to immediately grab a table came from Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Okay.
And it was when he was doing the Calamity event for the other people, Critical Role.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And he said, and I have the quote here, "I need you to describe your character and tell us your character's name, but I would love for you to do that with the understanding that your mouth is filled with blood."
Yeah.
Is just so fucking evocative.
Yeah.
Right? Like you immediately understand your character's stakes.
Yeah.
Right? My mouth is full of blood. Shit.
Yeah.
Like there is probably some context here that I am missing.
Yeah.
And I should probably find that out right now.
That's such an interesting way to do it too, because like on the one hand, like yes, you want to do like the traditional, like, hey, why don't you introduce your character to us? But at the same time, like these are experienced people, like they're not your average everyday role player, and so to get like, I understand the desire to just get things going, you know, like just get the car down the road or whatever the phrase is, but like, yeah, it's such a cool kickoff to do that. I don't, obviously like not everyone can do that, but
no, and it's one that is really hard to utilize effectively.
Yes.
Because like it relies on surprise.
Yes.
In that you are placing the characters in media res where they don't understand what the situation is, and you have to trust that they are going to try and find it.
Yeah.
But it also, like, one of the biggest things that I find for player buy-in is making sure that stakes are personal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, getting in your session 0 ideas about who your character is going to be and your goals and what it is that you want to accomplish, like, all of that ties into those personal stakes. But also, like, this opening with your mouth filled with blood sets a very immediate and personal stake of, oh, shit, I'm injured.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on and I need to find it.
Yeah.
Right. So there's mystery already in it. There's a personal stake that could very well result in your death. Like, it's very rare that your mouth is full of blood in a good way.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a good way. I don't know. Like, is the dude a vampire? Could be.
Delicious blood. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. You know, who hasn't occasionally woken up with their mouth full of last night's meal? Yeah.
What a horrible way to phrase that.
Yeah, and like that is also like strangely evocative because like day old blood really smells bad.
Yeah.
Just going back to our weird like gore conversation. So yeah, like I found that to be one of the best ways to introduce a like character to the world and get an idea of who that player and character is going to be, because you put them in a situation where they immediately need to make important choices.
Yeah, like I'm about to start a new campaign. We are wrapping up one that's been going on for quite a while, and everyone at the table sort of agrees they want to take like a fresh swing at things. So our normal DM is taking a break. I'm going to be stepping in, and I've decided to go to Gamma World.
Okay.
I'm gonna start a Gamma World
choice.
campaign for. Well, yes, for a variety of reasons. A big one is that nobody at the table has ever played Gamma World before.
Okay.
And like I don't have a good reason for going there other than like I haven't been in a while and it just seems like a fun thing to do. But I'm gonna have to get buy-in into this alien setting almost immediately, right?
Yeah. Do you have a plan for what your opening scenes are going to look like?
No, that's the best part. I gotta figure this out as we go. So,
okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be. We'll call it an experience. It's gonna be a real like test, I think, of whether or not I still got it. You know?
I wouldn't worry about that necessarily. Like,
I am though. Like,
well, one of the things that I've always kind of found interesting is like the mythology of the preparedness of the DM.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you peek behind my screen, you're going to see like all of these charts and like well thought out notes and spreadsheets and flowcharts and shit. What you're going to see is that I have written the word goblins with a question mark after it.
Yeah.
And literally nothing else.
Yep.
That's my whole fucking plan. Just goblins question mark.
Yeah. And like, if any of my current, friends or people at the table listen to this show, like, they're going to see how much of what I'm talking about when it comes to like how to DM is just me bullshitting and stealing from Brennan Lee Mulligan.
He's so easy to steal from. He puts all of his stuff out in public.
Yeah, it makes it real easy to just be like as good as him, kind of.
Definitely not as good as him in like for me.
No,
like, I recognize where I am. Definitely not at his level, but I don't have a weird philosophy degree, so
yeah, exactly. we have no stakes in this.
Yeah, but like improv is important, especially when you're trying to incorporate your players' stakes. And we'll talk about this a bit more in the next episode. But like when your players throw you a curveball, they're usually letting you know that that's the direction that they want to go.
Yep.
And you have to be prepared to go that way.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to go that way, necessarily. You do have to be prepared to go that way.
Yeah, I will say, like, I've always been of the firm belief that, like, there's no such thing as a curveball. There's just, like, unacknowledged desires. Like, it's not really a curveball if you had been paying attention.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, like I think a really good example of that was my like first session of my Australia campaign, where I offered a binary choice: go east, go west, and my players looked at an empty field and went, "Cool, north."
Yeah,
and I had nothing planned for north. I had stuff planned for east, and I had stuff planned for west, and so I just kind of like cobbled together an amalgam of those plans on the fly.
Right,
but that is kind of what I'm talking about, right? Like, you need to be prepared for when they make a choice. And I should have seen that coming.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I give you a binary choice, but there's an option that doesn't have a direct impediment, I have to be prepared for you to take that direction.
Well, what's funny to me is that, like, you think you gave them a binary choice, but you really didn't. Like,
no.
You expressed 2 options out of an implicit 4. And by like
Yes.
hiding those other 2, it just made them more desirable.
8,
Like
they
every
could have gone southeast.
I guess. But no, like by thinking rationally, like it's like, okay, well, here's the compass. I'm going to tell you 2 of the directions on the compass, which makes the other 2 insanely appealing. Like, why didn't you mention those?
Yep. And that is what it
Because I
became.
know a compass has 4 points, you know, like
What's he hiding behind the other 2?
yeah. What I'm hiding is my lack of preparation. Thank you.
Well, like, yeah, part of it was that it was a brand new crew and I was doing a bit of early railroading.
Yeah.
Just to like get things going and like get a swing for like how the game works.
Yeah.
But we had a player who was a bit more experienced and kind of a shit goblin, and it was like, cool, let's do the thing that he didn't give us an option for. See how that works.
What's funny to me is I at no point was I ready to blame the inexperienced or the experienced person. My thought was like, these inexperienced people don't know what they don't know. They didn't know that like railroading was a thing, so they're like, well, maybe he just forgot to mention that. Let's go this other way, you know?
No, the new players were all perfectly happy to go east or west.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Just this one guy who'd played a couple of times before was like, north. And everybody was like, I guess north.
But he didn't say north.
But like, you have to respect
the
player's actions, right?
Yep.
Like, there's never a time where you can hear what your players are telling you and then just be like, no, that's dumb. That isn't what I planned for, so we're not going to do that.
I mean, you can. It's not a good idea.
No. But, like, respecting what the players have chosen to do means that they are going to remain invested in the thing that you're doing because they believe that their choices have an influence.
Yeah, and they should. Like, they absolutely should believe that, whether or not it's, like, strictly true or just an illusion you'd prefer that they continue to believe in. But like, yeah, they want to have agency, so
it almost never is true.
Right.
To be fair, right? Like, again, my plans just say goblin ? And if you go anywhere, pick any direction, goblin ? is all I've got.
Yeah.
So you are going to meet a goblin no matter what direction you are picking.
Yeah, it's all goblins, folks.
Just goblins all the way down.
Goblins from hell to breakfast, yeah.
At the same time, like, when you're doing your world building and stuff, that gives them the opportunity to explore things that you haven't already created.
Right.
And sometimes you're going to make shit up that changes the entire direction of the game.
Hopefully. Like, I love those moments for sure. At the same time, like,
my favorites.
I do. Okay, I will say, like, sometimes I just want to like do the thing that I had planned to do because I'm feeling annoyed and lazy that day or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it happens. Do I begrudge anyone who like decides to take the weirdo route? No. But, you know, every once in a while you're just like, God damn it. Can we please just get through my planned adventure?
Yeah. Well, especially if you're playing out of published stuff.
Right.
Trying to improvise around it gets so much more difficult because there's so much that you have to try and keep in mind.
Yeah.
If you haven't read ahead that far, you can absolutely shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, we're going to have people of the opinion that you should just read the entire adventure before you run it, but those people are fucking nerds and don't have lives.
Absolute dorks.
Just the worst. No, I read adventures for fun, so like
I do not. Like, I'm not going to do that.
I absolutely have, mostly when I'm like, not when I'm planning, but when I'm planning to plan, I guess. Right. Well, I'm just like putting together ideas and brainstorming for what my next session is going to be. Sometimes I'll like crack open a pre-written adventure and just kind of like flip through it and see what they've got going on in there and like get ideas from it and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I'm never going to read one like front to back, cover
Right.
to cover, because that's the worst way to read any textbook, and an adventure is just a textbook.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Any other like last minute ideas on player investment, getting people into it?
I will say I find that like player investment can be like you do need to keep in mind it's going to vary wildly from like group to group, not just like from like people. Obviously, you have to read people's personal like investment levels. Some people are. I had a group once where the way I was able to get buy-in from half the group was to kill someone almost immediately. And then the stakes felt more real to them because I guess they were just like tired of playing safe Dungeons and Dragons. And so now they were like, oh, like this is real because real bad things can happen. Also now like we gotta do it for Jimmy or whoever, right?
That's really interesting because like I have seen the transition to like a safer like padded room version of D&D over the course of the years, and like I'm guilty of this too because I am very narrative driven in my games. So like I don't want to kill off player characters on the regular, but that sense of danger is really important. And one of the things that I played off of quite heavily when I was doing organized play stuff was the threat of me being a killer DM.
Right.
Even though I'm a giant fucking softie.
Yeah.
Like, I had kid gloves on at all times. But, like, people would come into the store and be like, hey, are we going to be doing, like, organized play this week? And I'd be like, yep, I'm going to fucking kill y'all. TPK this week. Be ready for it. And that would get people hyped, which I always found kind of weird. But I do get it, where it's like the consequence of your actions. And again, like those personal stakes, right? Like, is my character going to die this week? Is a very personal stake.
Yeah. I did have, like the campaign we're in right now, I had a character die. It caused, obviously, remember, like, our whole podcast started with that character dying and the, like, buy-in / emotional distress it caused with the group, where, like, it kind of became a problem for a bit, right? Like,
especially because you just, like, showed up and dragged your DM for a while, and then your DM was like, hold on a sec.
Yeah, and like, frankly, I don't think we've, like, he and I, like, will ever see eye to eye on how he resolved that as a DM versus how I would have, but, like, that's fine, Yeah.
Different play styles.
Yeah. I will say, like, it kind of made me buy in more with my current character. Because I'm like, okay, well, fine. If you're going to be pedantic about stuff, I guess I have to pay attention more.
You're a lot less likely to punch the corpse riding on the dragon's back, I guess.
Ugh. But not, like, completely unlikely,
No, you're never more than 10 steps away from punching the corpse on the dragon's back. Let's be fair.
Yeah. That's just my MO, okay?
Hey, thanks for making it all the way through this episode of No Plot, Only Lore. If you're looking for more, you can always find us at noplotonlylore.com and on all the very best podcast platforms. If you like what you heard today, please share, rate, and review the show to feed my never-ending need for attention and validation.